Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel and the Scouting for United series. Today we are looking at another striker. We all know that United need a new striker at the club. Today we're talking about Evan Ferguson, doing a really good job for Brighton this season, kind of having his breakthrough season. Been watching a lot of him, so I want to talk to you guys about why I think this could be a really good bit of business. Now, as we'll see during the video, he is still a little bit raw, he's not perfect. However, this guy's a real talent. And for me, one of the best striker talents in Europe. And when we're talking about his age, for me, he might be the best. I can't really think of a better one. In terms of 18-year-old strikers in Europe at the moment, for me, Evan Ferguson is right up there as one of the very best. Of course, Irish stands at about 6'1", 6'2", somewhere in between. And like I said, currently playing for Brighton, and this has been his breakthrough season. Now, he doesn't start every game, but when he does play, he seems to be taking his opportunities very well. And these are some of his stats for the season. Not quite up to date with the FA Cup game and maybe one Prem game last week as well. However, what we can see is that he's producing the numbers when he gets to play, whether it's in the second team or in the first team. He is scoring goals and getting assists. And he's just a very, very good player. I think something that Manchester United fans would like about him is, yes, of course, these goals, these assists, kind of his physical profile, what he does on the pitch, but also the fact that he is known to be a Manchester United fan. So I think even that could be something which weighs in his favour in terms of if United want to sign him, he likes the club, he supports the club. I think Erik ten Hag likes that sort of thing from his players. So, yeah. So, that's kind of the pretense, that's the idea behind Evan Ferguson in terms of his profile, his age, his height, he supports the club, injury record, completely free of injury at the moment so far in his career. But what is he stylistically? Because we can see that his numbers are decent, but how's he getting these numbers? Well, I'm going to make quite a bold claim here, and it's important to remember that I am going to talk about profile rather than about quality with this next statement. For me, Evan Ferguson, this guy here, is a combination of Erling Haaland and Harry Kane. Quite a bold claim, and again, it's important to kind of re-emphasize the fact that I mean in terms of profile rather than quality. So, before we quickly get into that, if you guys could subscribe to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. We're trying to do a video every day at the moment. There are a couple that we missed, but we're really trying to get there. So if you could subscribe, that would be really, really appreciated. It helps the channel grow and helps me make more and more content for you guys. So we can talk about people like Evan Ferguson, and we can back these statements of saying he's like Kane and Haaland combined. So let's talk about it. Why is Evan Ferguson, Kane and Haaland combined? So before we continue with the video, I want to talk to you guys about where I got this shirt from, and you probably guessed it, jerseyfifa.com. They have kindly sponsored today's video and also sent me a load of free shirts for me to check out myself, and I can now really vouch for the quality of these products. They have loads of shirts to offer on the website, so if you are interested, head to the link in the description down below and check out Jersey FIFA for yourself. So the reason for me that Evan Ferguson is a combination of those two brilliant strikers is because he can do everything really. He has a bit of everything to his game. In terms of size, of course, Haaland and Kane are both big strikers, Evan Ferguson as well. If we're talking about Erling Haaland, the way that he uses his size is very different to Harry Kane. Haaland will often go in behind the defence. He's looking to make runs off the back line and be very powerful, very physical. This is something that Evan Ferguson is very capable of. United at the moment are counter-attacking at times. Ten Hag at times wants a striker that can go in behind. He does want that, we've seen it in the past. And Evan Ferguson is very, very good at doing that. For his size, he's pretty quick. I wouldn't say he's lightning, but he covers the ground well. And what I do like is the way that he uses his size in these situations. If the ball does go over the top and he's shoulder to shoulder with a defender, we're seeing him at 18 years old going physically against some of the best centre-backs in the world. Thiago Silva, Van Dijk, players like that, Konate, Saliba. And shoulder to shoulder, Evan Ferguson is winning these duels against these, one, experienced, but two, very physical defenders. At 18 years old. It's not normal. So you can see that physical trait instantly there. He has that ability to go into behind. He can use his size, his power, his athleticism to get in behind the defence. Not as quick perhaps as someone like Victor Osimhen, of course, but still very, very quick and gets about the pitch well. However, that's the Haaland instinct. What he also offers you is the Kane side of things, where he can come shorter and link the play. And again, this is something which Ten Hag does like from his strikers. We've seen Weghorst do it this season, we've seen Martial do it this season, Dusan Tadic in the past. Players that can drop deep and kind of link the play. Again, especially on the counter-attack. Evan Ferguson is very good at doing that. His hold-up play is very good. At times, we've seen him in a two-striker system, where he kind of drops a little bit deeper to link the play. Technically, very, very sound. A lot of these big players at a younger age can be a bit gangly at times. Not Evan Ferguson. Very good technically, very secure with the ball at his feet. can turn and dribble a little bit, although not his strength, I wouldn't say. He's not going to a player which is going to, really tiptoe his way through like Martial, but I think that's expected with his size. However, still, for his size, very technically good. Again, you won't find many 18-year-olds that are this big, but also this technically good. Good at carrying the ball forward, good at linking the play. And it is backed up by the numbers as well. It's not just in his performance as we see it, but in his passing FBref report. We can see his pass completion rate for short passes, medium passes, and long passes, all in the 90th percentile or higher. Very, very impressive. And again, what I like is if we look towards the bottom there, that he ranks in the 90th percentile for his long passes that he's completing. Now, he doesn't attempt too many long passes, but when he does, he completes them. And again, it's the same for medium, and in short passes, he completes quite a lot of them, and also at a high rate, which again, gives that Harry Kane sort of vibe. That ability to get the ball in this area, play with his back to the defence, hold the ball up, and either kind of turn and carry the ball forward, or he can spin in behind and get on the end of the pass like we were talking about earlier, or he is very capable of coming here, getting the ball short, popping it off to someone like Bruno Fernandes, or his medium range passing out wide, or even perhaps that Harry Kane trait, which is, probably Kane's biggest strength, is that long passing, dropping deep and then bringing others in behind the defence. This is something which Ferguson could really grow into. Is he there at the moment? No, he's not complete in that sense. I think his long passing, we can see a greater volume of long passes from him. However, what we're seeing in those completion rates is that there is certainly something there. It's not complete, but there is something there that he could do it. So, in terms of kind of profile of a striker, which kind of what he does in the middle third, very, very complete. I wouldn't say there is a weakness in his game. Apart from, he's not going to twinkle toe his way through a team. But we don't expect that from many strikers at all, really. I can't see an obvious weakness in his game in the middle third, kind of carrying the ball forward, helping his side progress. He can be a target man, he can be a hold-up man, he can be a link player, but also he can go in behind the other way, he can create chances for other people. Again, if we go back to that passing FBref report, we can see that he's doing very well in all of these metrics. Pass completion, the 96th percentile. A very, very good striker that in the middle two-thirds of the pitch can kind of do everything. These first two phases, he's really going to help his side progress the ball and perform so many different roles, which we know that Ten Hag likes. But also, importantly, he's good in the final third as well. And I think, ultimately, that's the most important thing. We saw his play in the FA Cup at the weekend, a really nice little touch, and then slots it into the bottom corner. Really good play. Now, you wouldn't get that space and time in the Premier League. However, still the nature of what he does shows that technical quality which he has. For a big man, that close control, that ability to shift the ball out of his feet and put it in the bottom corner is very effective. But he's also really good in the air as well. Already in the Premier League, again, against some really good centre-backs. Some really, really good centre-backs. We've seen him winning headers in the air, putting them into the back of the net. We've seen him off the back of the shoulder off a defender, kind of running through and empowering a finish past the keeper. Looks really good to me. Really, really, really good young player. Now, he's not complete. I think, in terms of profile, I think he's got a bit of everything. But he's not, like I said, he's a bit raw still. He's not perfect. He's still very young, 18 years old. Not many 18-year-old strikers are the complete package. No one ever has been. Ferguson, though, is on his way to being a very good striker. I think he's a good striker already. I think he has the ability, though, to go even further. What I also like, and I think something that Ten Hag would like as well, is his defensive work rate off the ball. We know at Brighton, they're very much a unit, a team, there's no superstars in the team. They all play to the game plan, in and out of possession. Ferguson plays a part in that as well. And again, we can see this in his FBref report. His tackles won in the attacking third, suggesting the high press, but also the middle third, tracking back, the defensive third, dribblers challenged. This is a good pressing striker as well. So, not only does he offer kind of everything you could want as a profile on the ball, he also does it off the ball as well. And like we've seen with Weghorst this season, we know that Ten Hag likes a striker, which is going to come back into these areas, work hard and win the ball back for his team. Evan Ferguson will do that. Evan Ferguson genuinely really has a lot. Now, I'm not going to go into the details in terms of like slight movements in the box and things like that. That is something which I want to kind of observe more to make sure I'm very accurate with what I give you guys towards the end of the season. However, we definitely will revisit it before the summer or during the summer transfer window, because I think there's a lot to like about this guy. Now, again, what I should point out before we kind of wrap this video up is, again, I'm talking about a profile rather than a pure quality. Pure quality-wise, he's not as good as Victor Osimhen. He's not as good as Erling Haaland. Of course he's not. He's nowhere near those levels yet. However, as a profile, in terms of what his strengths are, what his weaknesses are, he is very, very complete. He really can do a bit of everything. He's got a ridiculous physique for his age. It's absurd. Again, the way that he muscles off big, experienced defenders, I can't really get my head around it. He's 18 years old in one of the most physical leagues in the world, and he looks very comfortable, very natural, very at home, but also then technically he can do it all as well. Evan Ferguson, my prediction, is that if he goes the next 2 years without an injury and, gets regular football and his mentality is right, the training is right and things like that, he'll be over 80 million in a couple of years. That's my prediction. The question, just to finish the video, is should he sign for Manchester United? Obviously, I'm talking about a lot of positives, and it would kind of make you think that United should be all over it. It's a weird one though, because is he ready to lead the line, for example, in the Champions League? I'm not sure, because there are even games for Brighton which he doesn't start. So is he ready? I'm not entirely sure. I think for his career, he would probably be best off staying at Brighton for another year. We know that they always do things very well. De Zerbi ball looks beautiful. I've got a video on it if you want to check it out. Brighton are very good, and it's a good place to develop. Really good place. However, for United's point of view, if they miss out on Evan Ferguson this summer, I dread to think what his price will be in the future. I mean, even this summer he'll be expensive. Brighton are good at their business. They make a profit. They make sure they do. But 2 years' time, like I'm saying, I think if it goes right, 80 million plus quite comfortably. And we're going to be talking about a top striker. This is a guy who will be playing for a Champions League team. Again, as long as his development goes well, as long as his mentality is good, he can avoid injuries. He's given the right environment. There's a lot of talent in his player. So it's a difficult one for United to assess. I think ideally, probably the best solution that I could give would be to sign him this summer and then loan him back to Brighton for a year or two. Is that going to happen? I'm not sure. We don't see it too much in football for some reason. Personally, I'd like to see it more. I think it's a really good business method. Kind of get these players when they're not ready, but kind of you've got them secured, they're going to be at your club, but they can still develop elsewhere. It's a really good way of doing it. That is how I would approach this if I was United. I mean, even just as the first choice striker, it'd be under consideration. I saw someone say it on Twitter earlier, I can't think who it was, but they said this is a Sir Alex Ferguson signing all over. If Sir Alex Ferguson was manager, he'd be on this right now, kind of like what he did with Wayne Rooney, and he'd quickly become a hit and a cult hero. Keep an eye on Evan Ferguson. I'm not going to say you should definitely go sign him. Keep an eye on him. Watch Brighton. Brighton are a very good watch anyway, very entertaining, but watch Evan Ferguson. He can do a bit of everything, and he's 18. That's what you got to remember. Even in his picture, he doesn't look 18. He's 18 years old. A wonderful profile. A wonderful profile for Irish football moving forward. They've got quite a good kind of squad coming through there, so a really good era potentially for Irish football in the future. Evan Ferguson could be a big part of that. So again, just go and watch this guy. I'm going to keep watching until the end of the season and hopefully give you an updated, more in-depth video in the summer. But for now, I just want you guys to be watching him because he's very, very good. And now you have kind of a base idea of what he can do. So hopefully that allows you to give you your opinions on him. If that is the case, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you think he's good at? What do you think he's bad at? What would your question marks be? What would you like me to talk about further with him? All of that, let me know in the comment section down below. Again, if you could subscribe to the channel, it would be greatly appreciated. Apart from that though, thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video. And as always, I will see you in the next one.